Welcome back, fellow travelers. So today I wanted to actually go through some comments that I've had on some of my YouTube videos. I am not always able to get to a lot of the comments, just the way they come in and just the daily aspect of my life. I'm ridiculously busy and I would love to interact with each and every one of you. So I try to get to as close to that as possible, but I'm finding that lately not answering as much as I should be answering. So I figured, you know what, I'm going to make a video series on some of the outstanding questions that I've wanted to address. For a bit, I might do this as a recurring series, so please do feel free to comment on any of my videos. Know that I will always see whatever you comment, no matter how busy I am. I always take a second to read the comment. Sometimes I reply right away. Other times I try to sit on it and get the facts straight before answering you. And what happens because of that is that sometimes I just never get around to it. Well, we're changing that right now, so I'm going to answer a few questions. I think I got like five or six questions. We'll find out. But let's go in and without, like obviously there's a picture of me when I was in Ireland. I do have an Instagram account where I love posting stuff when I'm on my vacation or on my day-to-day life. So do check it out. Link is on the channel, but I'm also going to throw a link in the description below. So without further ado, and now I can't get back to here. Oh, there we go. Vogel Canada asks, what is my reaction to Air Canada replacing the 320 fleet with the 737 MAX? So I saw the takeoff video of a 737 MAX, and it was pretty cool. I like the 320 aircraft. It's not a huge aircraft by any stretch of the imagination, but I always found it was comfortable. I don't necessarily have a problem with Boeing aircraft at all. 737s are not the most exciting aircraft, like the fairly, small in comparison to a lot of the big boys, right? The big flights. But if it's going to save on fuel consumption and it's going to do a lot of good for the company, then I'm all for the change. I'll have to sit down and see if there's any real difference from a consumer perspective when I get into the aircraft and draw my comparisons from there. I flew on a lot of Airbus 380s, Airbus 320s, and I never had a problem with them. Obviously, the 321 is where I always preferred flying, like on an aircraft. 319s were the low end. So I think it's important for airlines to continuously refresh their fleet, standardize them, make them modern, and I think it was time for a move. So that's my opinion. Thanks for asking. Adil asks, which gate should you ask? So... And I did not plan for it to be in front of a gate like that. That's actually hilarious. This is in relation to trying to get a upgrade. So this is the video on how to get a free upgrade. One of my better videos, gets lots of views, lots of hits, people asking questions. The gate agent that you should be asking is the one that's working the flight. So if you go into the customer service desk, they're not gonna be able to do anything for you. So make sure that you're at the gate when the agent first gets there to set up for their flight, and then go ahead and do what I mentioned in the video. Give it a shot. Again, like one of the prefaces and one of the preambles that I was talking about was it doesn't happen. It needs to really be a perfect set of circumstances for you to get that upgrade. But here's how to maximize your odds. Check it out if you haven't seen it. I'm going to have all the links to these videos up above the top right corner. Check that out if you haven't seen the video yet. And Rebecca asks, I'm a British citizen and a U.S. permanent resident. I live in Rochester, New York, so Toronto's the nearest international airport. I hate JFK with a passion. I think most people do. And want to return to the U.S. from London via a flight to Canada and then take the Amtrak to Rochester. I'm a bit worried, as I've never done this before. How much of a pain in the ass is it? I know I need an ETA. Thank you. It's actually not that difficult. If you're flying into Pearson, so that's the major international airport in Toronto, you can take what's called an up train. It's links from Pearson to Union Station, which is it's the heart of transportation for Toronto, where you have the subway stations that pass by, all the buses go by. The Billy Bishop Airport is close by to there as well, but as I mentioned, the train station. So there are a lot of different trains, mostly via rail. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I don't see why Amtrak's wouldn't depart out of there. I know 100% you can catch via rail because I've done it going from Toronto to Montreal, and it's not hard at all. Not hard at all. Just make sure that you are giving yourself enough time in between your flight landing and your train departure. I would actually always a good idea to give yourself a buffer of a day, because if you have a flight delay or your flight cancellation, because you're buying 2 different tickets, you might not have any eligible refund capabilities on your Amtrak. I was gonna say flight, but ticket, and then you'd lose the amount of money that costs, and you have to go ahead and buy another one for the day after. So that's one of the things you have to realize and keep in mind, that it's a risky game that when you're trying to go from a plane to a train. Give yourself a buffer. Why do I have this twice? Well, then, moving on. Porter needs jets. JTA. So this is in my Air Canada versus WestJet video, and then somebody mentioned Porter. Porter is one of those airlines that does a lot well, but they don't have the built-out infrastructure to really compete on the same level as either of those 2 airlines. With that said, people who fly Porter love Porter, so I would agree with you. Porter needs jets. I think one of the things, you're going to see a lot of evolution in transportation, especially within Canada and the United States, where regional aircraft carriers might be in danger. So Porter, and I'm going to make a video on that in the near future, Porter needs to redefine themselves or reinvent themselves in terms of not just being that small prop plane airline. Make sure that you start getting those jets, start expanding the network if you plan on surviving in the long term. For Dentistry asks or says, you can compare 2 Canadian brands and say any side, but on world scenarios, Air Canada has a bad rapport. Air Canada staff are similar to those working for Air India, Emirates Airlines, Etihad have far better customer service and concern. So for Dentistry, there's no doubt that a lot of international airlines have a bad rap. The important thing, though, is that Air Canada doesn't have their own staff internationally. So if we're talking about like gate agents, they usually contract out to a third party, whether it's another major carrier or professional ground handling services. A lot of the times, these are not really Air Canada employees. I will say, as a counter argument, that I know passengers purposely book Air Canada instead of the local airlines because they like the service. I find that Air Canada International, you comparing it to an airline like Emirates, Emirates is going to come out on top. They're in a different space. They're more of a premium space. Air Canada, it's not premium, but it's definitely not the same level as most North American carriers. It's a notch above. So while some people might not like Air Canada abroad, I don't know if it's purely based on the customer service, because the people that work on contract with those professional ground handling services, they want to ensure that Air Canada keeps them as a client. So what happens is that you have them, they're really tight. They're really tight on the regulations. So that might seem like it's bad customer service, but anytime I've dealt with somebody who's contracted out or works for a company that's contracted out for Air Canada, I've not had any problems. They're a bit too much on the stickler side as a passenger who flies on passes. That bothers me because it doesn't benefit me, but I got to give them full marks. I actually have to give them full marks, but I will concede that if we're comparing Air Canada to Emirates, well, Emirates will win. That's my opinion. Feel free to counter me on that. I'd love to hear some examples. If you have any instances that you felt you were mistreated or that you had bad customer service while traveling abroad around the world and flying on Air Canada, let me know. Jonathan Mercier says, I have flown this aircraft from YUL to PVG and back, and I must say that I wasn't surprised about it. Although the aircraft is beautiful, it was not as much comfortable as I had hoped it will be. I didn't have any problem fitting my bag under the seat in front of me, though. But the pitch and width of the seat was fair enough. I am flying back with Dreamliner next March, so it must not have been that bad. Hey, you know what? If you're flying on again, you have no problem doing a big flight, especially one that goes to Shanghai or anywhere else in Asia from Montreal to Toronto. That's good. That's good news. That's good news. I'm happy to hear that. I definitely need to give that a go again. That aircraft review that I did of the 787 Dreamliner was, I enjoyed the flight, but my instances where I had trouble with the bag in front of me and all that stuff got me worried, but I'm definitely happy to hear your feedback. And anybody else that have any feedback on the 787, I would love to hear it. Make sure you share that below. Tom Cook 1993 comments on my how to get a free upgrade video. Says a lot of your info is incorrect. Just watch Casey Neistat's video on airline rewards to get accurate info. Well, I definitely watched Casey Neistat's video when it first came out, and I gotta say, as somebody who flew a lot, but he doesn't have any insight as to what happens on the back end, there are some good pointers, but it's definitely not the gospel, and it's nothing that I would say like I'll base my whole travel video around a Casey Neistat video when I have the hands-on experience. Definitely would love to be challenged from other people that has experiences that contradict what I've said. Definitely, like, again, that video is one of the videos I get commented on the most, so feel free to share it in that video or in this video. I enjoy Casey Neistat as a creator and a YouTuber and all that stuff. He does a lot of great videos. His ad campaigns, like for Nike back in the day, were amazing. I looked at it when I watched that video. I was like, meh, like this is somebody who's flown a lot but doesn't really know what they're talking about. And that's not with no disrespect to Casey Neistat. It's very different when you're an influencer and you have a big YouTube channel and you fly a lot than it is for you or I to travel. Guaranteed he flies so much. He made another video probably about a year ago now. About a year ago, where he was talking about switching his preferred airline. I think it was American Airlines, and he was going with a different one because he wasn't getting a certain thing. So, and then the whole situation was weird because then you had another airline that jumped in and was kind of like, hey, fly with us and all that kind of stuff. So the comparison that, if you watch Casey Neistat's video, you can have that all applied is misleading, not on any part for Casey Neistat. I mean, he was sharing his experience, but I wouldn't say that, no one video is what I'm trying to say. No one video is what you should take from even my videos. Don't just take what I say and assume it's gospel, assume it's a fact. Especially with airlines, things change from day to day. There are so many special situations and scenarios that play out that will not necessarily lead to an exact replica. And that's one of the things I try to mention all the time. But there you have it. I think that's it. That is it. Maybe I should have had like a other slide just saying thank you and all that. But hey, that's not what I did. So guys, that's my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any other questions, again, please let me know. Let me know what you think about this video. I'd love to do more of these Q&As. I'll try to get something better than, some of my Instagram pictures over a screen grab of a video. Not a video, yeah, but a comment on my video. We'll figure it out. Hopefully we can get there. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to check out some of my other videos, you can do that on the screen. If you'd like to subscribe, it really helps the channel. It really, really does. So thank you for even considering it. And until next time, safe travels.